Breaking news behind the scenes of the NBA. The Houston Rockets elimination at the hands of the Golden State Warriors brought much more than just a final score. The series was decided in 7 intense games, marked by trash talk, injuries, and tension both on and off the court. But it was what happened after the final whistle that exploded like a bomb in the sports media. Dillon Brooks, known for his provocative style, left the court immediately following the 103-89 loss in Game 7. He didn't shake hands with opponents. No eye contact, no gestures, no words. And that silence echoed louder than anything he could have said. Draymond Green, as always, didn't let it slide. On the latest episode of his show, The Draymond Green Show with Baron Davis, the Warriors veteran dissected Brooks' behavior and attacked him with sharp, deliberate words, loaded with a personal tone. What was just an elimination has now turned into a direct conflict between two of the league's most explosive players. Green didn't just call out Brooks' attitude. He questioned the kind of player he is, and more importantly, whether someone like him is capable of leading a team towards something bigger than headlines and chaos. But before we understand why this episode is shaking up the NBA's backstage, it's worth remembering the rivalry between provocateurs like Draymond Green and Dillon Brooks wasn't born in a single series. It's been built over time, in glares, in contact plays, in the shoves that come with no whistle, and in a league like the NBA, where narrative is as valuable as a scoreboard. Every gesture is another chapter in the story. If you're a true NBA fan and want to understand what's really at stake, and what this could mean for the Rockets' image and Dillon Brooks' legacy, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Here, you don't just get what you already saw in the highlights. Here, we dig up the roots of the story and show you what no one else is saying. The series between the Warriors and the Rockets was physical, provocative, and emotionally charged. And Brooks, as expected, stepped onto the court ready to provoke. That's who he is. Since his days in Memphis, he's been known for trying to get into opponents' heads. And according to Draymond Green, he went even further. He allegedly admitted during the series that he was intentionally trying to aggravate the thumb injury Stephen Curry was playing through, the very injury that had been limiting the Warriors' star shooting. For Draymond, that wasn't surprising. We all understand how the game works. You try to win by any means, he said. But that wasn't the real issue. The issue was what happened afterward. If you're going to be that guy, the big bad wolf, then be him. Wear your sunglasses at the press conference. Talk loud. Face the media. But don't disappear when you lose. Green fired. According to him, walking off the court in silence didn't just irritate. It broke a code. You lose a lot of respect for guys in that moment, he stated firmly. Green wasn't alone in his criticism. Many fans and analysts pointed out that even in intense matchups, there's still a certain respect between players. An invisible line that separates those who play hard from those who vanish when reality hits. Brooks' absence during the post-game handshake was symbolic, especially after a series where he went out of his way to be the center of attention, whether through trash talk or on-court antics. And Green went even further. He said it loud and clear, nobody on the court respects Dillon Brooks. And coming from a champion, a leader, one of the biggest names in Golden State Warriors history, that weighs a lot. It's not just an opinion. It's a verdict. Now the question runs deeper. What happens when a player is seen as someone who emotionally destabilizes a team, not the opponents, but his own locker room? Brooks signed a 4-year $86 million deal with the Houston Rockets. A big investment. And while he delivers on defense and excels at irritating rivals, the emotional impact of his behavior is starting to come under scrutiny. This isn't the first time. At the Memphis Grizzlies, Brooks had run-ins with LeBron James, stirred things up, and was ejected after a cheap shot. When the season ended and he became a free agent, the message was clear. The Grizzlies leaked that they had no interest in re-signing him. No negotiations. Despite still playing at high levels. That's rare. It was like the franchise saying, that style, that behavior, it's not what we want anymore. Still, the Rockets decided to bet on him. And to his credit, He's delivered within his role. But this latest episode raises an important question. To what extent does the Dillon Brooks style help a young, rebuilding team that needs leadership more than it needs headlines? For Draymond Green, the answer is clear. When you're trying to compete at the highest level and you're that kind of guy, that's not beneficial for your team, he declared. According to him, it's not about personality. It's about maturity, about knowing how to lose, about showing up when the tide turns against you. That kind of behavior can affect an entire team's culture, especially in a young locker room like Houston's, where every action has a direct impact on identity formation. And in a league where the smallest details define success, a player's attitude can be the difference between a unified team and a fragmented group. So here's the big question. Is Dillon Brooks a relentless defender or a character who's lost control of his own role? What matters more? The ability to throw off the opponent, or the ability to keep your composure when it counts? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Did Draymond Green go too far? Or did he just say what many think but are too afraid to say? And hit that subscribe button, because in our next video we're diving into another potential feud involving a Western Conference star. Spoiler alert, there may be more rivalry on the way, and it's not going to be pretty. What began as a controversy between Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green is now turning into something much bigger and far more complicated. Because while the Warriors were still savoring their victory over the Houston Rockets, after a series marked by provocations, tension, and Brooks' blatant lack of respect at the end of the battle, a new concern was emerging. This time, it's not about rivalries or behavior on the court. It's about an invisible, silent threat, time. Yes, time. The schedule, the countdown that the NBA cannot stop. Because while everyone's attention was focused on the trash talk and the drama between Green and Brooks, another story was quietly being written. One with the potential to affect not just the Golden State Warriors, but the very machinery of the league itself. Let's start with the facts. The Warriors still face a tough road in the Western Conference semifinals, going up against the talented and youthful Minnesota Timberwolves. They're not favorites. They're far from being the season's protagonists. But what they do have, what they've always had, is experience, championship DNA. And if they manage to advance, if they survive yet another battle, they could reignite the hope for one more title run. But there's a problem, one no one saw coming. The debut of the Valkyries, the new WNBA franchise, scheduled for May 16th at Chase Center, the Warriors' home, has created an unprecedented logistical dilemma. A scheduling traffic jam, a butterfly effect that could disrupt the entire postseason dynamic. Because of the Valkyries' inaugural game against the LA Sparks, the NBA was forced to space out the games between the Warriors and Timberwolves. After Game 5, set for May 14th in Minnesota, Game 6 in San Francisco can only happen on the 18th. And a potential Game 7, the final battle, the decider, is set for May 20th. This pushes the start of the Western Conference Finals, which traditionally would begin around that same date, to the end of the month. Sports Media Watch was the first to sound the alarm. If both the semifinal and the WCF go to 7 games, the final conference showdown might take place on June 3rd, just 2 days before the scheduled start of the NBA Finals on June 5th. Now here's the most absurd part. The NBA has no intention of changing that date. For the first time in years, there will be no alternate window, no contingency plan. The final schedule is locked, and the risk is clear. One team could come out of a 7-game war and have to face the NBA Finals with just 48 hours of rest. No time to train, no time to recover, no time to breathe. And who might be at the center of that storm? The Golden State Warriors. The same Warriors who are at the heart of everything, who rise when least expected, who feed off chaos. But even for them, this might be too much. Just imagine Steph Curry coming off a grueling series against Anthony Edwards, Towns, and Gobert with his body at the limit, being forced to face an NBA Finals without recovery time. Imagine the impact on the court, on performance, on the spectacle, on the fairness of competition. And this isn't just a sporting issue. It's commercial, It's political. It's structural. The NBA wants to strengthen the WNBA, and rightly so. The Valkyries' debut is a historic, symbolic, necessary milestone. But the league's lack of flexibility in its calendar reveals a blind spot, the balance between expansion and organization, between innovation and tradition. The league is modernizing, expanding, but needs to learn how to anticipate these kinds of schedule collisions because the damage can run deep for the teams, for the players, for the fans, and above all, for the league's credibility. And here lies the supreme irony. While Draymond Green criticizes Dillon Brooks for not respecting the game itself, the system, the schedule, the organization, might be about to disrespect the very players who give their blood and soul to get here. Is it worth keeping the schedule at all costs? Or would it be wiser to ensure that the finals are held with both teams in equal condition to compete? That's the question now hanging in the air. And as distant as all this may seem, the clock is ticking. The countdown is already underway. And if the Warriors, despite still playing at a high level, chaos that started with Dillon Brooks could end up affecting the entire league. Comment below what you think the NBA should do. What's fairer? Stick to the schedule or delay the finals to ensure a level playing field? And drop a like if you enjoyed this deep dive into the NBA's backstage drama, and subscribe to the channel. Because in our next video, we'll talk about how the schedule chaos could affect the league's broadcasting rights and advertising market. And I can guarantee you, there's a lot of money on the line. Literally.